there's anything you don't want Andrew to hear, just let
Leave
me know.
me. Well, I want to talk mad smack about Andrew, but that's fine.
But now.
Yeah, we'll wait till after. Yeah, okay, so what's up? Let me know what you're thinking here.
Yeah. So I have a rough idea of things, sort of. Now that I've talked to Andrew, Brandon, and Ty, like I've had official meetings with all of them about the
Mhm,
project. So I have a general direction, and obviously there's a lot of things that we have to do.
mhm,
But I think kind of just talking about the broad schedule of things,
mhm,
I would like to have a location locked down as soon as possible. I mean, I know we're not shooting until 2025, which we're either doing June or July, whichever works better for Tig and you and everyone else. But I know it's going to be one of those
yeah.
2 months.
Okay.
But I'd like to have a location locked sooner rather than later because, as you remember, with Thermal Haze, it took a super long time to get like all of the permits and stuff.
Mhm,
So I was talking to Tig recently last week, and we had two sort of locations that we need. One location is a beach.
okay.
So my first pick is this place in Santa Cruz. That was just a couple of weeks ago. Beautiful beach. There's no people on the beach. We don't have to worry about like people walking around. It's not a private beach. It's a public beach. So it's part of the one of the state parks. So getting permits shouldn't be all that hard. No one really goes there. You can't
Mm,
really swim there because it's pretty rocky. The only thing we would maybe have to be concerned with is there is like some surfing there. So there would be some surfers, but again, they are really only there like first thing in the morning, first thing at night. So it's not very populous. It's a good sized beach. It's not very big. It would be a little challenging to get equipment down there. But I think once we got everything down there, there's enough room on the beach. But I mean, it's a smaller beach. It's probably maybe 100 feet across, 100, 200 feet across.
okay. What's the issue with getting the equipment down there? Is it like far from the parking lot or is it just
It's close
like
to the parking
sand in
lot. It's just
general?
there's not a walkway, it's just like rock. And there's like steps, but it's a bit treacherous.
Gotcha. Good to know. Okay, okay, okay.
We really don't need any big equipment. And I'm talking to Ty about the camera that we're going to use, which is the DJI Ronin 4. So, I mean, it's only like this big. It's got all the handheld stuff. It shouldn't be that bad. We're not doing any sync sound with it. So, it probably won't be a problem. And we don't need a huge crew there. I mean, we really just need Tig, myself, a producer, and possibly a grip, but that's pretty much it.
2 years out in advance, I don't really know what my situation's gonna be.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's fine. I don't know if I'll be in this job and then within the year. So I'll keep you updated on that little fun
Yeah.
piece. I will have summer Fridays though. I'll have every other Friday off. So depending then on if you choose to film in June or July, I'll have a little bit more time to be like, okay, I know exactly what Fridays I'll have free that I could fly, make it there, etc. I just know that like July can just be so hot out west. And so that could just be miserable to shoot.
Well, so Santa Cruz, I was just there a week ago. It doesn't really get much above 75. So
Oh,
it's
love
it's pretty
that.
cool there. Yeah.
Okay, great to know.
So heat shouldn't be a problem. Clouds shouldn't really be a problem. If we shoot in the mornings, it's a bit foggy, but otherwise it's pretty sunny during the day.
Yeah.
So and it doesn't really rain that much in the summer. So I think obviously I'm not like 100% because who knows how
Mhm.
weather goes, but typically Santa Cruz, Monterey, that whole area. And they're microclimates. So even if it's raining like on one beach, you can go a very short distance and find another beach that's perfectly sunny.
Love that. That's great. Okay. So if it's a public beach, then do you have to get permits for it still, or are you able to just film?
I mean, we should probably go through the requisites, contacting the city and stuff like that just to make sure we have everything locked down just in case someone comes by.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessary that we have a film permit, but as long as we have like permission from the city that we can be there, just like a piece of paper that we can show a police officer or
Yeah.
whoever.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the other location we need, which I'm pretty confident that that'll be the place that we shoot in Santa Cruz, because it's close to a lot of hotels that we can stay at. It's close to a lot of things. It's easy access. Parking's good. Pretty much everything there is solid. So, and Brandon says financially it shouldn't really be a problem. So,
Oh, good.
pretty confident about that. And the other location, which I'm not really sure, is Tiggs thinks that we should utilize a black box for all of the interior scenes, just because we have a lot more ability to do different things than we would if we try to rent out an Airbnb or try to utilize a different space.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
So, I mean, obviously, there's black boxes all across the country,
Right.
and I don't have any particular pick on where. I know Brandon right now is doing research to figure out where the best tax incentives are for us. So that might come into play too. But the only action I've taken so far in that respect is I reached out to my old film school, because I know in the summers they don't do any summer classes. So in the summer, the entire facility is empty. Soundstage is empty, the recording studio is empty, the whole space is empty. So I don't know if anything will come of that, but I think it would be a very good space to have. And of course, we would pay whatever we
Mhm.
need to pay to have someone there, because I don't think it'd be that much. But the nice thing about that facility is I'm very familiar with the soundstage, the recording studio, and we'd have access to they have a lot of equipment there that we could utilize. We'd
Mm.
also have access to students that go to that university that are there during the summer, which would be nice to
It's
have
in
some like extra
Colorado, right?
gifts. What's that?
Was it the film school in Colorado?
Yeah, it's right outside of Denver. It's in Aurora, Colorado.
Oh, okay. Nice. Um, so would you then, if we did utilize that, would the entire like production essentially move then to Colorado?
Mhm.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that's the idea. So, I mean, obviously, we don't have a shot list yet, so we can't really talk about schedule or anything like that.
Mhm.
But the goal right now is a 6-day shoot at the beach, and then 28, yeah, 28 days for the interiors. So there's 7 conversations. I'm hoping that we can get through each conversation in 4 days. I know.
All right.
I mean, I think we might be able to expand it to 6 days per, because if we have all of June and July, if we had 2 months, then if we did 6 per, that'd be what, 30, gosh, math, 42. Is that right? 6 times 7 is 42.
Yeah,
Thanks. Yes.
sounds
So
right.
42 days plus 42 days plus the 7 days, which is 49 days, plus at least one day a week off so people don't go insane.
Right.
Yeah. I think the 6 days is probably the most we could do per conversation. But
We used one day off.
yeah, like Sundays or Mondays or whatever. I guess it doesn't matter which day is off, just as long as there's.
Whatever's gonna work best for me and my schedule, right?
Yeah.
Whatever I schedule you guys to work.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I like the idea of having like Sundays off or Monday or whatever, just to allow people to reset. So what do you need from me right now? Like in the immediate, just for like next meeting essentially.
Yeah.
Because like obviously can't really get the shooting schedule going, which is
No.
fine. Can't really be buying like the props. We're not casting yet.
No. So for our next convo next month, one thing I'd like to have is like a broad schedule of what the next, like from our next meeting all the way to shooting day, kind of what the next steps are, right? What are the things we have to do when we should
Yeah.
do casting, that sort of thing. I know Tag suggested that we should cast pretty early because this is very dialogue heavy and they'll need a lot of time with the script. And then, so that's number one, is just like a schedule for the next 2 years. Obviously, very broad because
Mhm.
a lot of things are going to happen between now and then, but
Right.
just, the basic ideas of this is when we need to buy props. This is when we need to lock down location. This is when we need this permit, that sort of thing, blah, blah, blah. And the other thing is to start looking for locations. I don't know if you have any particular place in mind. Tig suggested universities are probably going to be our best bet because there's typically no one there in the summers, and they tend to work well with the arts, so they're much more willing to provide space. Private theaters is an option. I just don't think, having worked with a lot of private theaters here local to Reno, those spaces, they rent those out for like $1,000 a day, which is too much.
Yeah. Because we're looking
So,
for black box. Or wait, yeah, okay.
Yeah. I mean, a soundstage would work too.
Gotcha.
But so either one. So just like start, looking around at maybe some universities, or I mean, I guess we contact Butler too, because I know they have a black box, but it is in Indiana, which is, the tax incentives there are not great. So we'd have to take that into account. But yeah, I think our best bet is to look at colleges. So maybe for our next conversation, I will do this too. We make a list of like 4 or 5 places, whether they be universities or whatever, and we can go through, hey, this, kind of rank them like this is kind of our top choice, second choice, so on and so forth. So then for the meeting following, we can start reaching out to people and figuring out locations. So
yeah. Okay. Can I ask 2 favors of you? Can you get a group chat going?
yes.
And is there any way that we could either all have like a shared Google Calendar, like either through like Life and Fiction, or in the group chat, I can just ask for everyone's silly little emails, and I can just make like a combined Google Calendar. That way, then we can just put deadlines up there, and then I love using a calendar and color coordination, so that would be great. But it's more so just so that way everyone has access to the Google Drive. I can just kind of keep putting things up there as things progress. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that today so I don't forget.
Really appreciate it. And if you forget, it's like totally okay. We're pretty far out, so we can like get
we got time
going eventually. But it's just more so that way then we can just kind of, as we're finding things, just put it up there, be in contact. So
okay, cool. And you have access to the folder, right?
I do.
Okay.
I will probably switch up my email on you, just because this email that I'm using right now is full. So I just want to make sure we have enough space. LOL. I'm a mess right now. But yeah, so I'll text you my new email address.
That's all very dumb. I'm trying to think if there's any other imperative things I've talked about with Tiger, Andrew, Brandon.
If you've recorded the meetings, feel free to just put those meetings as well in a folder.
Okay.
1, so that way I can rewatch our meetings, and then 2, just to have like documentation of like we have covered this. Cool.
Yeah, I'll
of course with everyone's permission would be the best.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I know Tig and Brandon are good. So, and Andrew, he doesn't give a shit about things. So
yeah. 2 more questions. So if we were to cast, what's the recommended like time of that in terms of like, since this is a dialogue heavy? I don't know per se. Is this like by next summer, or like by this year's holidays, or?
So I think we should start work on casting. So here's the bit of the problem. Other than Sylvia, we need to make sure all of our castings are wherever we're shooting, because it's a lot easier to, if we're shooting in Denver, then we need to make sure all of our actors are local to Denver, because it's a lot easier to get them to come to shoots, and we don't have to pay for them to fly out there and pay for hotels and stuff like that if they already live there. But saying that, I would like to start casting, at least for Sylvia, but I'd prefer to start casting for everyone in January. So start looking in January, and then have our entire cast locked down by next summer. So June or July.
So we need to find a location like soon.
Yeah.
Like, get that. Okay. Cool. Cool, cool. All right, that's good to know. Yeah. I mean, I guess we could always do Sylvia first, and then if we're still like wishy-washy with where we're gonna go, for location like Denver or sticking to Reno or whatever, and find the rest of the cast. But it'd be nice to have it all
Yeah.
figured out and then go into cast. Yeah. But okay, cool.
You said you had two
The second
questions.
question. Um, is the team then? Like, has that been like solidified, like everyone that you've mentioned, or are you still looking for others? Like in terms
The
of like, are you looking for like sound or any other screenwriters or ADs, etc.?
the only other position as part of like the core team is possibly Kevin, which Tig has worked with a lot. I reached out to him maybe a week ago by email. I haven't heard anything yet. I know when he talked to Tig, Tig said that he might be interested in the project. So a little unsure about Kevin. Otherwise, our core group is here. I think we might need, again, if we're at a university, this should be pretty easy to do because theater students or film students are pretty much at every university. So they're very easy to get. They'll work for free.
Right.
So day of, we might need some grips or just some extra things, but we're not going to run any sync sound on this film. So we don't need to worry about having a boom guy or a sound engineer or any of that stuff. So I think pretty much our main core is you, me, Tig, Brandon, Andrew.
I wasn't sure if I needed to put out feelers. I had a couple friends who moved out west. I was like, they could be interesting. But yeah, sweet. That's my other questions. Yeah.
All right, dope. Then I will stop the recording so Andrew can't hear anything that happens next.